the next one! Thunder! Coming!
Phew. No more adventures, thank you. That was enough bravery for a lifetime. But we did it! We stopped the Doom Train. Well, mostly you did. Before we can celebrate, though, we need to make sure Treno's secure. As I feared, stray beasts to the south. I've lost track of how many times I've asked you for help, but I need your help again.
Can you stand?
Yeah, yes! Thank you so much. There were others being attacked over by the canal. Could you possibly...
Of course, I'll go right away. The rest of you should get to the town hall. I can't leave anyone behind. I won't. Best make sure the evacuation route is clear first. Those people by the canal. Is on the way! There may be other stragglers. Breeze is awfully warm. Oh no!
Our home!
First things first, the fire. Take a leaf out of Y'shtola's book. Not a moment too soon. I hope that was the worst of it.
Somebody help!
A voice. Further out. I'll take care of this. Make shelter. Is that all of them? A behemoth!
You cut that rather close.
Thank goodness you're all right.
Ayane has finished the repairs. We need only hold the line until the barrier is in place.
And hold the line we will, together. I can.
I have no doubt.
I can still fight. I can.
I have no doubt.
Keep away from the clouds!
If I never see another storm.
Nowhere is safe with so many of them. Some friendly winds, if you please. It worked! How fortunate that bird made such an impression! The Levin grows more volatile. Something is coming! Ball lightning! Y'shtola, Svi, lend me your strength!
The two of us will disperse these balls of lightning.
Just keep the lightning at bay a little longer! Take cover behind this frigate!
I must say, that was an incredible performance.
Flatterer. What is it?
The barrier is restored. The people of Trenno may rest easy once more.
The perimeter is clear, everyone. And thanks to our guests, the Doom Train has been destroyed. Last but not least, Ayane's fixed the barrier. We don't need to worry about beasts anymore. This calls for a celebration.
The Doom Train is gone for good.
That's our Ayane.
They're safe. All of them. Alila? Cryle, does the name Alila mean aught to you?
My mother. Did you know her?
I'm sorry, my dear. We should get you patched up before aught else. Alila's story and that of the key are one and the same. You have no cause to fret, I promise you. While Lummel forgot to give the order, bless him. First and foremost, we must... Come and find me at Town Hall, when you're ready.
Without further delay, then.
You needn't mind me. My injuries are far from severe.
But your curiosity is another matter, is it not? Your feet will deliver you to Miaili all the swifter if you can...
Ere I begin my tale, there is something about our family that you need to understand. We are descendants of the Speakers of Eld, and I myself am the latest to inherit the role. But even as we do our utmost to ensure our people's welfare in our adopted home, it has ever been our duty to find a means to return whence we came. Alas, our ancestral treasure never did answer our prayers. And that left my elder sister, the priest. It was then, when she was at her most vulnerable, that preservation reached out to her.
The key is none other than that relic, and it has been in the safekeeping of our people since time immemorial.
Yes. When lightning threatened this world, we attempted to use the key to flee again, like our ancestors once did. Alas, no matter what we tried, we couldn't invoke its power. We had all but given up when Preservation approached us with an offer of partnership.
We've heard this part before, from my mother was your sister.
She was, which makes you an heir to the Speaker's legacy. The last message I received from your parents said that in order to thwart Preservation's design, they must send away both their daughter and the key. I now understand what became of the former. As for the latter, through conversing with your friends, I gleaned with whom it currently resides.
And is it your wish that we give it back?
We Milala are the people of Treno now. Here is where we've put down our roots. The moment Elila relinquished the key, she relinquished our claim to it as well. But be that as it may, my sister gave up not only her life, but her darling daughter, to prevent its misuse. It is my duty to ensure that its new bearer is worthy. So, should it answer your call as it never did ours, how would you use the key's power? For some, that might be a self-serving end. But your deeds are proof that I needn't worry. And what's more, there's your friendship with my niece. I dare say that speaks well of your character.
By the by, do you have any records pertaining to the key here in Treno?
Would that we did. But Delilah took everything with her when she joined Preservation. If aught remains, It would be in Alexandria.
And so we find ourselves returned to our original course.
Shale may have made some progress. Perhaps it's time to bring our visit to an end. But by that, I don't mean to say that I don't feel welcome in Treno. You've all been so kind and accommodating. And in many ways, it's my hometown. It's just that, well,
It's all right, my dear. It is true that some feel bound by blood or birthplace, but I don't believe that your parents would have wanted that for you. They devoted their lives to understanding the key so that future generations would not be burdened by it. As we have chosen Treno, so too should you choose the place you call home.
I will.
We must give you a proper send-off, though. Wait for us by the gate, will you? A word of caution, Keeper of the Key. As you know, it is a relic that has traveled across centuries and worlds, passing through countless hands. Oft beckoning to those ruled by ambition or avarice. Indeed, some have wondered if it chooses its master. But I believe differently. I believe that some inexorable force, call it fate, if you will, ushers it from one bearer to the next. Be wary, for fate's regard now falls upon you.
Thank you all for everything.
We're the ones who should be thanking you. You fought so many times for us.
I've tended to the people's immediate hurts, but see that they receive appropriate care as they recover.
I still can't believe you took down the Doom Train. Just like that. You're my hero, truly. And I'm...
For my part, I cannot thank you enough for supporting my plan for the barrier. Not to mention that we wouldn't even have the Electrope to restore it without your aid. I can't wait to see what else we can do now that the mine is back in service. Kryl. O life, flourish on this faraway shore. Remember that, will you? Whatever shore you choose.
Of course. Those words, and our people, will always be in my heart.
After so long without her, I had begun to forget what my sister was like. Her face, her voice, fading like the mist. All I could remember clearly was her resolve as we parted for the last time. But now I've seen her again. For bringing her back to me. It...
You too, Aunt Miaili.
I know your home lies far from here, but to us you'll always be family. Come and see us once in a while, won't you?
I will. My comrades have found a treatment for Levin's sickness, so I'll bring it to Treno as soon as I can.
My, you certainly have no shortage of accomplished friends. We'll await your return, my dear. Life is full of surprises when one lives in hope. Isn't that right, Delilah? Now, there is much to be done. With access to the mine restored, I'd like to explore methods to expand our food production systems. I look forward to your insights.
Oh, my poor heart. I only meant to steal a glimpse while we were in the area. But our eyes definitely met, didn't they? Oh, that's not ideal. Such fearsome instincts to perceive me as a threat in an instant. But I shouldn't be surprised. It's the Source's vaunted hero, after all.
Halmarut!
Oh, dear me! Oh.
One need hardly be the warrior of light to notice you. You're far from subtle. As if the horns and scales weren't enough, you insist upon dressing for another century. Those clothes must be as old as I am. Where is your robe?
You mean the robe that practically announces me as an Ascian? Not that I don't intend to reveal that detail, but it will be at a time of my choosing. Besides, if one of us can't help but draw the eye, it's you. Oh, Calyx, how you've grown. Smaller, that is, and surprisingly cute-ish.
Put me down.
Jests aside, we will be departing the 9th all too soon. If you wish to say your goodbyes, I could find you a vessel and mold it to match your preferred presentation.
Don't you dare. I will not debase myself by occupying a living body ever again. And in any case, to travel the rift as you do requires the shedding of one's flesh, does it not?
I apologize if I upset you. Your understanding is, in essence, correct. The magics cannot bring a vessel through the rift. Ergo, you must discard it and assume a form of pure ether until you reach the other side. However, that doesn't mean you need discard everything like so much refuse. Using fissures such as this, one can easily send small amounts of matter between reflections. Matter such as your archived memories.
All the more reason to remain as I am. At present, I could pass through a fissure myself. And as this form suffices for surveying the material realm, I see no reason to expend effort searching for a replacement. I wish only to observe. That is enough.
Very well. I shan't press. Nevertheless, Odd though you may look, I would encourage you to bid farewell to those to whom you have attachment. For now that you've failed, unless our hero changes course, this world is doomed to die.
I had hoped to banish death from their lives. Why should it come to all, whether they will it or no? Why must any accept this burden and grief? It was never about any one person. So no, there are none with whom I would exchange fond farewells. But so long as mankind yet survives, I can hold fast to my faith. That my life's work might again bring someone's salvation.
Hold fast you must, as we press ever onward. For soon it begins, and every world shall tremble. The Winterers must be prepared to outlast the great withering to come.
That's your ominous prediction, is it?
No, it's nature's proclamation. Can't you hear it? It echoes in the silence, left by the will of the star.
Ah, you're just in time for a progress report. The decryption is finally complete. As we suspected, the data represents a partial record of Preservation's research documents. A quick scan of the files, however, failed to turn up the information Y'shtola was after.
Indeed. No mention of the Ascians, or primal summoning techniques for that matter. While Calyx doubtless received instruction from someone possessed of such knowledge, there was naught to identify this benevolent mentor. I am, however, pleased to say that we found several reports concerning the key.
We know the key is used to open paths between worlds, and was a treasured relic of the Milala. And just as the Milala were unable to return after reaching the Mist Continent, so too was Preservation unable to gain a mastery of the... The data suggests that a particular formula or procedure is required, a process which Calyx appears to have understood to some degree. Yet the key proved fickle. Perfectly replicating conditions was no guarantee of success. And even when they did manage to generate a modest portal, the destination was never the one they expected. The reports practically screamed their frustration, describing the experience as being dragged around by a traveler picking roads without rhyme or reason. Serves them right, I say.
After much trial and error, Preservation began to experiment with external actuation devices for the key. Striving to maintain a stable pathway to a chosen location, they conceived of the technology that forms the gate to the Golden City.
So, their tribulations ultimately afforded them control of the key, albeit in a limited capacity, which, of course, explains why they were able to instruct Soralja in its use, thus enabling the unprecedented feat of transferring Everkeep and its environs to the Source. After the Endless Fiend took the key unto herself, she opened pathways to other reflections in her hunt for ether, did she not?
The Milala merely used it to facilitate their exodus. To think what the key has now wrought in different hands.
For all we know, the actuation device augmented the key's power beyond its intended scope. Were your goal to plunder whole worlds of their ether, a tool designed to simply transfer people would likely be insufficient.
Shale, I don't suppose you would be able to remove the actuation device?
The machine made for that very purpose is still functional, thankfully. It shouldn't be a problem.
What do you think? We don't even know how the key works. If the device is somehow in...
Give me a moment.
My word.
Shola?
This is the first time I've beheld the key in all its unobscured glory. The sheer density is extraordinary. 'Tis akin to the structures we saw beneath the Tempest.
Now that you mention it, the ornamentation is reminiscent of Amarot.
Have you noticed anything since the key has been in your possession?
You're suggesting the key has some connection with Azem. A plausible theory, although one we are yet unequipped to prove.
My apologies. Hello? Yes, this is Cryo speaking. That was Ojika with a message for us.
An urgent matter?
I'm not altogether sure. Tataru requires our counsel, and hoped to call upon us in person at the Baldessian Annex. Though disappointed we were not present, she appeared content to wait until our travels brought us back to Sharlayan, insisting that it did not merit our immediate summons. Her tone suggested otherwise, however, and Ojika felt compelled to contact us directly.
Mayhap the time has come for another journey across the Salt.
You'd best go. Though I'll not deny that I'll be sad to see you leave.
Oh, Shale. I can't even begin to thank you for all you've done. We will be forever indebted to you and your Oblivion colleagues.
The debt is ours. We'll never forget the sacrifices you've made for us, for Alexandria. In the meantime, I shall keep sifting through the data. You'll hear as soon as I find anything of note.
Actually, I should like to stay here a little longer, if you don't mind.
You are most welcome.
And might I borrow the key for a while? I wish to study it further. With the utmost care, I assure you.
Well then, shall we be off? Ojika will be expecting us.
Planning your next journey?
Oh no, just reminiscing. Thinking back to when you bought this map, and how you all encouraged me to make the voyage to Tural.
Are you glad you did?
As if you need ask.
Welcome back! I'm so glad you're here.
Ojika contacted us. He intimated that you were rather concerned. Come to think of it, Alphino said he and Alize would pay you a visit upon their return. Have you not seen them?
Oh no, they were here. I was regaled with many a tale of your Turali adventures. It was only once they departed for Garlemord that the rumors came to my attention. Rather alarmingly, void-sent sightings seem to be on the rise across the star. I was reluctant to bother you with mere hearsay, especially when you had more pressing matters to contend with. But earlier I received a confidential report from the Grand Company of Eorzea. It's as if a mighty dam has been breached, flooding the land with foul creatures. For a blessing, most nations have managed to keep the invaders in check, and casualties appear to be minimal thus far. Though the same cannot be said for those regions with a deeper connection to the Void. Their fissures continue to manifest without end, putting countless innocents in danger.
A deeper connection to the void. Garlemald is the home of the Reapers, is it not?
It is. Alphino and Alizé were there when the trouble began, and have since sent word that the situation has taken a dreadful turn.
Thus concludes the abridged account of our time in Tural. Now I shall leave you with the words of the late Dawn Servant, Galul Jajar. Ignorance begets strife. Understanding begets fellowship. A notion that rings true for Eorzeans no less than it does for the diverse peoples of Tuliolal.
And for Garleans as well. Even sharing something as simple as a local dish can pave avenues of understanding. It's up to all of us to forge new bonds, together.
Thank you for sharing your tale. Better they hear it firsthand than endure my clumsy retelling. Your words give me hope that we might achieve something similar here in Garlemald.
We all have the capacity to affect change. Our time in Tural taught us that much. And now that we've returned, it's time we rolled up our sleeves and got back to work.
I've already sent missives to the other nations, informing them of our Alexandrian friends. I also intend to notify the Garlean community officially. If both sides are amenable to the proposition, we shall gladly assist in establishing diplomatic relations with Alexandria and Tuliolal.
Thank you. But are you sure you've recovered from your journey? It sounded like you've hardly had time to catch your breath.
Sir! Lapis Manalis is overrun with void scent. We've sustained heavy civilian casualties.
What?
Siltium Squadron reporting in. We're under attack. Void scent appeared out of nowhere and ambushed us during a routine inspection. Damn it. Is that another fisher? Oh, no, no, no! Ah!
My comrades are under attack. We have to do something.
There's no time to lose! Come on!
The Garlean community is ill-equipped to defend themselves against such a threat. Even with the aid of the twins and the Ilzabard contingent, they face daunting odds.
We shall leave for Garlemald immediately.
Thank you. I was able to contact Thancred and Urianger too. They're already on their way. With any luck, you'll be able to rendezvous with them on arrival.
You picked a frosty spot for a reunion.
Tataru sent word that you were coming. Full glad am I to see you all. Though I'm afraid this is no time for pleasantries. Planar fissures have opened up across Garlemald, inundating the region with void scent. As far as we can ascertain, there are 2 focal points of their assault. The Ilzabard contingent are combating the threat in Lapis Manalis. Although they have suffered casualties, they appear to have the upper hand.
As well they should. The many talented Uldan thaumaturges among them should be more than capable of closing any fissures they encounter.
Which leaves the second focal point, the Clutium. Eulus and the Garlean community are attempting to mount a counterattack, but are struggling to cope with the sheer number of Voidsent. They've fallen back to the north of the Imperial Palace. Can you lend your aid in securing the area?
With your blessing, I would tend to the wounded returning from battle.
Of course, Kryl. Thank you. The quickest route from here to the front is via the train tracks. Once we arrive, we can support the Garlean forces as we make for the fissure in the munitions factory.
Our fates are not yet sealed.
I stand ever ready.
Let's give it our all!
I stand ever ready.
You're a sight for sore eyes. You're mine! I may? Appreciate the help. We'll handle things from here. Take care of the fissure.
The stars shall grant us. Together we shall overcome this. Together we shall overcome this.
I may?
think that's all of them.
We need but seal the fissure to prevent further ingress.
It's over. I can only imagine the extent of the damage were it not for your aid. On behalf of the Garlean community, I thank you for all you've done for my people, for my home.
I shall close the fissure post-haste.
Wait! If you do that, I will be trapped here.
You risked your life in vanquishing the creature. Would you at least let me bear the burden of deciding its fate? You want to go back? To the Void? Your kind have entered this realm before. Some seeking death that they might rejoin the life stream. But you would choose that dark, deathless place?
The wind is fresh and pure, untouched by darkness. Perhaps it won't be a blessing to meet my end in such a place. But I cannot yet bear to part with the Void. If only the winds would blow there, as they do here. I long to return, to see my home unsullied, as it once was.
We know that pain all too well. If that is your wish, you must forsake this aggression. Go back to the Void and devote yourself to its restoration. I have a friend, Zero, who hails from your home. She and her companions strive to bring light into the Void from another world blighted with imbalance. I hear their efforts have already met with some success. One day, they'll drive the darkness from the Void, I'm sure of it.
This form is imbued with the will of all those I have consumed. We shall return to our world and seek out this Zero. Then we shall see if there is truth in your words.
She won't disappoint you. That much I guarantee.
Bravo! I think Zero will approve.
Oh,
Indeed, that was truly heartening to see.
Understanding begets fellowship, right? I thought I might lead by example.
Well then, shall we head back? The Ilzabard contingent have contained the threat on their front. Things appear to be under control, for the time being. Though it remains unclear why the fissures opened up in the first place. According to Tataru, similar ruptures are occurring across the star.
One thing is clear, however. The phenomenon is not without pattern. The tendency for fissures to emerge is pronounced in regions deeply connected to the void. Places where the barrier between the two worlds is at its thinnest.
I fear there may be a place in far greater peril than Garlemald. Though it hath since been sealed, you will recall there is a great void gate that we ourselves had cause to open. A gate which was instrumental in our bid to reunite Vritra with his sister and put an end to Golbez's dark plot.
Oh gods. The moon.
With our attention fixed upon planar fissures, I failed to consider this vulnerability. All other paths unto the void are but pinpricks in the veil compared to that great lunar rift.
And that rift might be yawning open as we speak. We'd better hurry.
Let us make for Bestway's burrow. I dare say the Loporrits are well aware of current events.
We ought to have Kryl join us once she finishes tending to the wounded. I shall likewise contact Y'shtola. Her knowledge of the moon's void gate is second to none.
Alphino, Alize, please do what you must to keep our world safe.
We'll be back before you know it.
A quick word, if you will. I'm not sure whether you'll run into Zero during the course of all this, but if you do, would you give this to her? Emergency rations, in case of a protracted battle. Can't imagine she's eating all that well in the void. She likes dumplings.
Given thy panicked state, I presume the Loporrits too are beset with void scent.
Oh, what sweet relief it is to see you all! Yes, void scent. And lots of them. They suddenly came pouring forth from the crater.
I had dearly hoped to find my worries unfounded.
For some unknown reason, the void gate seems to have partially opened. Living May dashed off to activate the brands and halt the Fiend's invasion. But she hasn't come back, and we've since lost contact.
I suggest we make for the brands without delay.
Oh, I'm so... Oh, I was never in any real danger, of course. I knew you would realize our plight and rush to our rescue. Etheris is likewise plagued with void scent. If only we'd prioritized further development of the void scent slaughter bots, we could have stemmed the tide ourselves. Oh, what a tremendous demonstration that would have been. Irrefutable proof that I was mankind's staunchest ally and the greatest Loporrit to ever live. I can practically taste the praise. Fortunately, I was able to activate the brands. Should any more void scent emerge from the gate, they ought to be confined to the crater. Unless, of course, the void gate begins to expand of its own accord, or some gargantuan monstrosity tries to barge through. I don't foresee any major problems. we're doomed.
There you are.
I left the data in Shale's capable hands and teleported here as soon as I heard. And
Then the real threat yet awaits us.
'Tis Golbez's domain beyond the Void Gate. I wonder how he and Zero are faring. By the 12.
They're headed your way!
Let them come.
What are you doing here? Trust you to state the obvious. May as well make yourself useful. The gate's sheer size appears to have made it a tempting target.
Enuo, a dread void scent risen from the benighted depths of the ocean. They kept to the confines of their domain while Zeromus endured. No longer, it would seem. And once they had discovered a path to the Red Moon, they wasted no time in making the journey.
Leave the void scent nearby to us. You take care of Enuo. Facing this many foes calls for a more familiar approach. Voidsent can change their form at will. Both light and darkness are mine to wield. Besides, what better to purge darkness from the void than darkness itself?
Who dares face me? A mere mortal. Hast thou come in search of power? Renown? I fight to end this world without end. All who stand before me shall fall.